Moore, seconded by Vincent. All in favor?
Aye.
A recording of this meeting is being made and shall be kept for 30 days as public record. And who do I pick on? The second meeting, would you lead us in pledge?
I would be pleased to. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call. I am here. Mr. Bender is here. Dwayne Moore is here. Mr. Ritzoletta is here. Sandy Hepburn is here. And our student Morgan is absent. Need a motion for the approval of the agenda? Motion by Bender, second by Hepburn. All in favor? Aye. Reports and communication. Do we have anybody from CSCA? Anybody from RTA?
Right over here.
There you are.
Hi there. Not too much tonight. We meet again on Friday to continue our negotiations from 2 years ago for the next 3 years. So look forward to that meeting with Mrs. Gaines and her team. That's all I have for tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Quillen. Washington DC trip. Morgan? Sure.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. Hello. After over a year of delays due to COVID, the history department at Tropico Middle School is excited to finally move forward with our Washington, D.C. trip at the end of this school year. This trip is open to students who are in 8th grade this year, as well as last year's 8th graders. Parents and staff members are also welcome to attend. Our trip is scheduled for June 6th through the 10th, 2022. We're traveling with World Strides, a partner of the Smithsonian Museum. There will be one teacher chaperone for every 10 students. World Strides provides program leaders to lead our tours, as well as night chaperones to monitor the halls so students are under strict supervision 24/7. This trip is all-inclusive and the price is $2,424 for students and $2,788 for adults. There are several options available to help students pay for the price of the trip. Financial assistance is available for families who qualify. Fundraising through the Gift of Education, which has easy-to-use e-cards, letters, and shareable Facebook links. And finally, payment plans are available to everyone to spread the cost of the trip out into smaller payments. World Strides provides medical, dental, and liability insurance for all of their trips. If closures, government regulations, or travel restrictions due to COVID-19 prevent our tour, we can postpone or move the tour with no fees. Anyone who would like more information is invited to join our information meeting on Zoom. The meeting is set for tomorrow, Thursday, September 16th at 6:45 p.m. The link to this meeting can be found on the 8th grade teachers Google Classrooms, or you can email me at mgunther.sartwell@skusd.k12.ca.us and I can send the link to you. I'm really looking forward to sharing this opportunity with our students. Thank you for your time.
Nice to see our kids go to Washington. Get some education in our capital and how everything is done.
Is there a minimum max?
Of how many people? Yeah, that price is for 15 people.
For 15 people?
What are the
And there
qualifications?
is no
No max.
What are the qualifications you said for students that are qualified?
It's mostly open to this year's eighth graders and last year's eighth graders, but it could be open to other students as well. So.
And that's 4 days, $2,400 per student.
Do they get to go to the Capitol and do the
Yeah,
tours?
so, we go to Colonial Williamsburg for one day, and then, we tour the Capitol for the next day.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Okay. Do we have a report from our student? CBO, sir.
Good evening, everyone. It's been a busy couple weeks since our last board meeting. I'm gonna start off with construction. On Saturday, building okay, will be the crane, push down the foundation. Just over here.
Can we use a different mic? That's not gonna work. I'm sorry, you got another mic, or is it all the mics? I wasn't doing it over there.
How about this one? Better?
Good, Robert.
Now you guys see my wrinkled hands. Okay, so I'm gonna start over. Construction, the building J is being craned in on Saturday morning, so AMS will be doing that bright and early, and hopefully all goes well and it lands on the foundation, and we don't have to, have a delay because, they were off by 2 inches. Knock on wood. I want to say thank you to Hunter Dodge for donating not donating, but letting the district use a van for the volleyball trip to Mammoth. Due to the shortages in transportation and needing to use vans over the last couple of weeks for pickup, we didn't have one available for the team, and got an email from Justin Armstrong from the high school being like, hey, here's a possible solution, and it worked out fantastically. So we were able to get the team up there for their tournament in Mammoth, and, at least one extracurricular that, we didn't have to cancel or, knock off due to COVID and everything else. Segueing back to construction, because I didn't take notes or take this out all the way. Plans, and we have a meeting with Welling Moody in the morning to see initial design ideas for Tropico, for the proposed construction there that was talked about last week, or at the last board meeting. Yes. So that, we can go over, okay, here's at least what they have an idea of now, and, the district will be able to give opinions and ask questions, and as we try and get to, a place where we're meeting CD deadlines and everything, that we can go forward with all of those. And what else we got going on? Oh, tomorrow morning is the refinancing of bonds. Phone call with the Raymond James, our underwriter, will be doing the sales call to see if it's something we want to go forward with. With it being, the selling of financial instruments, everything kind of depends on what's happening in the news and how that affects the interest rate. So, while we hope for good news, there could also be something else that, drives interest rates up, and we, may or may not be feasible. We'll find out more at 10 in the morning. So that is it for me. So thank you.
Sorry, I have a broken toe. I'm gonna wobble around. Anyway, welcome everyone. So glad to see everyone out here today. I would like to just talk a little bit about a few site visits that I was able to do last week. I visited both Tropical Middle School and West Park Elementary School, and I really enjoyed my visit at both schools. I talked to both school site administration teams, got to hear about a lot of exciting things that are going on both campuses, some of their plans and things that they're going to be working on this school year. So I really enjoyed that. I also walked through at least 6 or 8 classes on each of the campuses just to stop in and see what was happening. And I saw some teachers doing some amazing teaching, using the adopted curriculums. Students were focused on the instruction. They were wearing their masks, following school rules, all of those guidelines, very pleasant when speaking to me. So I did truly enjoy those 2 visits that I did last week. I'll be visiting Roseman High School and Roseman Elementary School today or tomorrow and Friday. So I'm looking forward to those as well. Our office is still enrolling students each and every day. We're somewhere above 35-24 at this point as a district. So I think I saw about 8 new students that enrolled just today. So emails going out to the different sites about new enrolling students. So we are still moving on up for enrollment. So that is awesome. And that's all I have for everybody. Thank you guys so much.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. In HR, we are busy every day. I think we're doing some hiring every day, trying to fill lots and lots of holes, plugging holes. And on that note, I do want to say thank you to everybody, our classified staff, our certificated staff, our administrators. Everybody is just doing what they can to plug those holes. And, we sure appreciate that because all of you are here. We're all here to do what's best for kids, and that's what you're doing every day. So just know that it does not go unnoticed, and we do appreciate everything that you do. Subs are at a premium for both classified and certificated. Some of our surrounding districts announced in the newspaper the other day that they are raising their sub rates, so that makes it even just a little bit more difficult for us. On top of that, so that might be something that we'll, possibly be looking at in the future. But just wanted to make sure that everybody knows just how appreciative we are that everybody is, jumping in and helping each other out, and that's the way we do things here in Southern Kern. So thank you very much.
Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone this evening, and especially our parents at home that are watching. I want to thank Mr. Mesa and Ms. Compton for allowing us to be here this evening and opening your beautiful school for our board meeting. I too want to say thank you to Hunter Dodge. I couldn't believe Robert and I were laughing before he went because he was worried because the district credit card doesn't have his name on it. It just says business office. He was very worried that whether they would take his card, even though he had his ID and everything. But then when he came back and said, they just told me to take it, just take the van. And I thought, wow, that's really an incredible thing for them. So I know that Hunter Dodge, my understanding is that it's owned by a couple of brothers. So I personally want to reach out to them and say thank you. That was a very, very, very kind gesture, allowing us to take that beautiful van all the way to Mammoth. Yes. So I also want to take this opportunity to thank everyone who worked on the LCAP. I want to start by thanking the LCAP committee, comprised of teachers, some site administrators, and some parents. They worked, they met regularly and gave us many wonderful ideas to put in our LCAP plan. And so I also want to thank my site administrators. I want to thank all of my cabinet members, because the LCAP was on our cabinet agenda regularly every week. And I especially want to thank Dan, because Dan, Dan takes all of our notes, yay, Dan, and he put it all together in this beautiful format and plan and submitted. And sometimes we're all over the place, and he has to try to figure out what we mean by something. And I received a letter also, Mr. Mario Gutierrez received a letter from Dr. Barlow accepting our LCAP with no rewrites. So thank you to everybody who served on that committee. That's one plan off of our head. Want to just say that tomorrow at 4:00, we resume our work with Dr. Ken O'Connor on grading. He's Canadian. He will be Zooming in with us from Canada. And hopefully our ultimate goal is to get a grading policy that the teachers, site admin, and the board can support as we move forward. If not for this year, moving forward, hopefully for next year. So I'm looking forward to meeting again with that group of teachers and admin tomorrow. I always want to say that I try to be positive every time I have the opportunity to speak publicly, because I think we have so many wonderful things going on in our district. But today something occurred at Roseman High School, which I feel, as the superintendent of Southern Kern and as an advocate for our children, our students here, that I really, really, really need to emphasize to our parents listening and watching this evening that I am very concerned. Apparently the app TikTok, who I've never really heard anything really good about this app. Maybe I'm old, maybe that's the reason, but I'm gonna tell you what they did. They challenged our students, or they challenged students to vandalize their school. And such was the case at Roseman High School today. We take a lot of pride. Sometimes we have a very small number of staff members at work, but yet our restrooms, I was called by Kern County over a week ago after the Williams visit, which inspected Roseman High School, and they had nothing but rave reviews. And the gentleman told me that he was in every restroom, and the campus, the students were so friendly. The restrooms were very, very clean. The kitchen, the cafeteria, it was just all, he said, I was very, very impressed, Mrs. Gaines. And today we had the restrooms destroyed. Soap dispensers were pulled off the wall. Paper towel dispensers were pulled off the wall. Phones were taken off the walls in classrooms, which is, that's a whole different, that's really challenging me to see how that happened. Fire extinguishers were taken out of areas where fire extinguishers are needed. and the list goes on and on. And I want parents to realize that this is vandalism and graffiti. Today we're talking vandalism and theft. 4 of the students have been caught. Consequences were delivered to those students. But I want you to know that board policy, Southern Current's board policy 5131.5 says that the Board of Trustees considers vandalism a very serious matter. Vandalism includes the negligent, willful, or unlawful damaging or theft of any district-owned real personal property, including writing of graffiti. But even let's take it a step further. What I'm more alarmed by is if this app would encourage young people to vandalize their schools, what other challenges will this app present to our children? So parents, I ask you, please have a talk with your secondary students. And whether it's Tropico Middle School or Roseman High School, Rare Earth, please, let's make sure that they understand anytime they choose to do this, they are making a very serious choice that will be dealt with by the district. Thank you. Okay, we have an attendance. We have an attendance challenge that we started at the beginning of the school year. And tonight, I get to announce the winner of the primary attendance challenge and to announce that they will get to keep the banner until we announce the winner of the September attendance challenge. And they will also have one day on their campus where Child Nutrition will be providing a dessert for all the students, probably in the form of ice cream or something. I'm leaving that to Robert to handle. But we're very, very excited to present the banner for the very first time to West Park Elementary. There you go. So if you want to just hold it. Southern Current Unified School District Best Attendance Elementary, Dr. Barlow, Mr. Holmes, please make sure this goes up in the office. Okay, congratulations. And the winner of our secondary attendance for the month of August, with 93.62% attendance, is Roseman High School. All right. So put it in your office. Not in your office, I meant outside. Yes. Okay, so my thoughts to Tropico and to Roseman Elementary. There's one every month, so don't give up. You could be taking that banner from them next month. Okay, thank you.
Board communication. I'm going to start with Mr. Bender.
I'm just excited to be over here so we can start getting more people to come and show up and support us, and so we can listen to comments. I mean, one thing I really like to hear is what people say, how the school's doing. So if you're out there and you're not here tonight, please make some time to come out in joining these meetings. That's all I have.
Dwayne?
I just want to come out and thank Hunter Dodge also, because I know my sister's on the volleyball team. She was very upset when she said they might not have bands to go, and if parents could get time off work, they weren't going to be able to play as a team in Mammoth. And thank you to Hunter Dodge very much. I was at Rosemont High School today, and I walked around the campus. Students were wearing masks in the classrooms. They were all focused. You know, teachers were doing great. And then as I'm about to leave, I hear Mrs. Akineni's announcement on vandalism, which literally was like gut wrenching and made me sick to my stomach. That not only are you vandalizing school property, but you're disrupting the educational process, which needs to stop. So don't just talk to your students about the TikTok app, talk to them about respect, because that's what it comes down to. And that's it for me.
Okay, thank you, Mark. I too want to thank Hunter Dodge. It was very nice of them. I know some of the folks over there. Hopefully we can start getting more participation from the community at our meetings. That's why we've gone to the larger venue, so please folks consider attending. I too am going to make a comment, but I'm going to make it just a little different way for the students at the high schools, actually all our schools. I know when I went to school, and I'm sure the rest of the folks here, we had pride in our schools. We didn't go vandalizing anything, and so forth. And so students, you need to turn around and understand, the seniors at the high school, get out there and start showing your senior leadership. And don't let these kids get out there and destroy your school. The ASD, I'm sorry that the rep isn't here tonight, but I would ask her to also take the lead, the ASD, to start reinforcing this stuff. Get these kids, if they're doing this stuff, let's get them into here. It's not fair to the other kids who are, there to learn and have good, they need to have these facilities. Stealing them. The extinguisher. What happens if we have a fire in that area that extinguisher should have been? That's going to take a long time for us to get the extinguisher to put down. So my point is that, yes, I know TikTok is what people are looking at. Kids need to get off TikTok. And parents, I think you need to also step up and know what's going on with the kids. And I do thank everybody who is showing up tonight. And congratulations to the two schools on the attendance award. And I'll turn it over to Sunny.
I want to say thank you to everybody. You guys are doing a great job as far as raising kids, but teaching kids and keeping them in line. So you guys are doing a great job. I got the opportunity to attend a couple of volleyball games at Chapel Middle School, and I was fired up. The teams are doing such a good job, and they're just growing as athletes and students, and it's just really exciting. And parents talk to your kids. I'm going to go home and talk to my kids and just hold them accountable and just say, hey, if you see something wrong happening, say something, tell them about themselves, because at the end of the day, it's your school. They're messing up your school. And I feel like they're messing up my school. I need to go over there as well. It's getting together. But thanks for being here.
I want to echo everything that they're said down that side. It must be something making me blush. I want to give a shout out to the FFA at the high school. We had a couple of champions come out at the, I would say fair, but it really wasn't the fair. It was the Kiwanis auction. But it shows what the capability of the kids and the school to be able to raise animals to get to the championship level. My kids participated in 4-H, was the equivalent of FFA in the private sector. And they did it for over 20 years. A lot of kids. And it's really hard to get one of those animals to the champion status. So I really want to give a shout out to that. There was 2 champions at our high school, correct? Just 2?
I think it was more than 2 kids. I saw at least 3 or 4 kids, but then they had multiple animals that
Right.
made it into the champions.
One of the students had a sheep and a steer
Yes,
that were champions.
yes.
And I don't know if they made it into the swine section.
I don't remember, I was sent an email, and there were quite a few kids on the list.
Right, they made a lot of the,
Yes,
because they're different. The supreme champions, there's class champions, there's a bunch of different ones, but we did do really well in the marketing side of the
yes.
championships. So I just wanted to give a shout out for that.
They're having a great program.
So hopefully we reinforce that program even more,
Yes.
because I really like the industrial arts side of it, of everything that we do at the high school. Okay, with that, I will go back to our regular stuff. Public comments. Members of the public may address the board on any subject within the jurisdiction of the board by submitting presentation requests to the secretary or by email. Members of the public may strongly are urged not to mention personnel by name and are reminded that they are not have immunity from legal action if personnel are named. The board may limit each speaker to 3 minutes with a total of 20 minutes per topic. And we have 1 email.
This is from Rebecca Eubanks, and it's addressed to me, dear Mrs. Gaines, and school board members. I am the head volleyball coach at Roseman High School, and I wanted to let you know how much the other coaches and I appreciate the support that the volleyball team has received so far this year. First, let me say we appreciate the district for renting a van for us to go to our Mammoth tournament this year when the school-owned vans were no longer available for us to take. I would also like to recognize Mr. Riley, the auto shop teacher. When our net system was broken on a game day, he came over and assessed the situation, came up with a temporary solution so we could play our matches that day, and then showed us how to fix the problem. I would like to recognize Justin Armstrong, the girls' basketball coach and teacher at Roseman High School. When he heard that we did not have transportation to our Mammoth tournament, he was able to get a van donated so we could still go. He has also been extremely helpful with having our games recorded so that we can go back and use the film for practice plans, as well as film for the players that would like to play at the next level. And last but not least, I would like to thank the administration at Roseman High School, Mrs. Akinini and Mr. Shevlin, and the athletic director, Mr. Gonzalez. All of these individuals have been extremely supportive of our program and have helped us every chance they get. It is amazing to work in such a positive, supportive environment. I just wanted to make sure that everyone here knew what an amazing experience it has been coaching the volleyball team this season. Thank you, Rebecca Eubanks, head coach of girls volleyball, Roseman High School.
Consent items A through G. Anybody have any questions? Then I will entertain a motion.
I will move to approve.
Motion by Vincelet, seconded by Moore. All in favor? Aye. Williams settlement requires each student in the district to use sufficient school books, e-books, and instructional material, or both, that are aligned with the current standards adopted pursuant to code 60605 for I-2-3, that means? Ms. Lacy?
You'll see in your packet that each of the school site administration has certified that they have the correct amount of instructional materials. We also had the Williams Settlement visit 2 weeks ago that was very positive for each of the school sites. There was one school that was short a few books in one class, but we were able to get that fixed pretty quickly. They now have all of the materials that they need in that class as well. So we now have all of the adopted curriculum that we need to have in all of our schools. We did, as Mrs. Gates stated, have some really good comments from the Williams Settlement Committee about each of our schools. They had some very nice things to say about Roseman High School. Also Tropico, and when they were walking around that campus, they had very positive things to say about those students. They really had positive things to say about every one of our schools. So it was a really nice visit for them to come out, and any of the issues have been taken care of.
Good time, sorry, I messed up a little bit here. I need to go back. I had some notes here and I got confused here. That echo's getting me. Can you explain to me a little bit about the frontline services that we're adding to what we have already?
Sure. So what the Frontline is going to do is it's going to help HR be more automated. So we will not have as much paper. For example, when we do interviews, we'll be able to use laptops and be able to submit that paperwork to the automated system, and it would be stored in there. It also has a recruiting section where people can apply for different positions, and it would be a nationwide search. So that's one thing that we really could use is a broader search band for teachers, or even maybe some classified positions. It enables people that might be moving into our area to go in there, see the positions.
So would they go to Southern Current and look for this? Or would it be on the web? Any positions, any school teachers out there that apply to Google search for jobs or something will recognize this and bring it to the system?
It can. So what we'll do is we'll still be posting to EdJoin, but EdJoin will, so it'll look the same, but when they go to apply, it'll take them to Frontline. And so they're now applying on a different base, but they'll still be applying through EdJoin.
And can we keep track of how much this is, what talent it's bringing us and how much per year? And is it something that we can cancel?
Yes.
Because anytime I have a $15,000 renewal fee every year, that increased our budget $15,000.
Sure.
So I'm a little concerned about that.
Well, and part of that, so Goal 4 in our LCAP is all about teacher quality and hiring diverse teaching staff. So what we'll do is divert some funds in the future to, if we see that this is something that we really would like to do. So a portion of it will come out of that now, and then in the future, we'll be able to, if we see that this is of value, we can divert some of our LCAP funding to that and pay for it out of our LCAP money.
So we will be able to see that we're getting qualified teachers through this app. or this program.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, now we'll be to recess our regular meeting for a public hearing. And time is 7:47. I will make a motion to be recessed for, need a second? Seconded by Bender. All in favor? Okay, public comment. Anybody have any public comments on our Williams settlement? Or David? Going once? Going twice? Okay. We will now go back to our regular scheduled meeting.
I'll move that we go back to vote, to the session.
All in favor?
Aye.
What do you? Approve resolution 21-2202. Significant instructional materials for 21-22, or year 2021-22. Ms. Lacy. Basically, it's the same thing, and then we just approve it. Need a motion? I heard two. Hepburn. Second by Moore. All in favor? Review and approve unaudited actions. Mr. Irving.
Alrighty, so just have a quick PowerPoint to summarize what the unaudited actuals are, so that, instead of going through, 100 some odd pages of forms that look basically like the same thing over and over. Go on to, there we go. Alrighty, so this is just a quick snapshot of the revenue for the 2021 year. So unaudited actuals are our opportunity to look backwards and see, okay, we finally ended the year in June. And then now we gotta, close out the books, move on to the next fiscal year. So this is, the brief summary. Overall revenues for the year were about 47.9 million, rounding up to a easier number to say. We did start the year with a general fund balance of 298,000, and we are ending the year at 7.5 million. So a very large increase, which a silver lining to all of COVID and the awfulness of the year has been that their schools have received a record amount of funding from both the state and federal government. So that is from taking corrective action and moving forward from the years past. It is, we've had a little miniature rocket strapped to our back for the last year to really push what that ending fund balance looks like. And next slide. Here is a breakdown of the different types of revenue, because the joy of accounting is, we can't just call it all revenue and lump it all together. We need to break it apart and find out, is it state money, is it federal money, is it local, So in all categories other than federal revenue for the year, the difference between unaudited actuals and the estimated actuals that were presented with the budget adoption at the end of June, we had more revenue in every facet other than federal revenue, which the estimated actuals were overstated by about $800,000. But at the end of the year, if you look at the very bottom row, we had $1.9 million more in revenue than what the district was expecting. A lot of that came through the other state revenue, which included funds for in-person instruction and ELO grant that weren't a thing until April or so. So nobody, it wasn't planned for, because when the budget was created in July, it wasn't on anybody's radar of, oh, by the way, schools are going to still be closed, and then when we reopen, the governor is gonna release 2 different pots of money to districts for reopening and learning loss. The next slide. All right, so our expenditures, which is, great that we have more revenue. Downside is we also do have to, spend the money, on, so, anyways, unaudited actuals, end of year total for expenditures is 40,600,000. On the next slide, you're gonna see a very large, over expenditure on capital outlay. That's because we went ahead and got all 5 of the buses through the Eastern Current Grant. And the money that we got for that, for those buses are in the other state revenue also. So the transactions don't cancel each other out on the balance sheet on the same account line. So while it looks like, okay, we're way over here, we also got more money to pay for those, recorded in the revenue. Out of our unaudited actual, salary and benefits make up 80% of the total expenditure. Next slide. All right, so here's the breakdown of the expenditures where the capital outlay you'll see is over budgeted was our estimate actual was going to be 167,000. We actually spent 939 of that. $825,000 of that over expenditure is the 5 buses, which so we overspent there about $1,000 overall for the year, but comparing that to books and supplies and the servicing and other expenditures, like it, comes out as close to a wash to me, at least as far as $40 million in expenses being $1,000 over is what they refer to as budget dust. It's not great, but it's also not we don't have to sell the farm, so that's always good. Overall, we spent about $1.15 million less than the estimated actuals had us at. Next slide. And this is the ending balances for our other funds. The capital facilities funds 25. We expected about half of what we actually got for our fund balance. Fund 25 is developer fees. That's so the new construction for residential and commercial within Rosamond has exceeded expectation. Fund 35 is our state facilities fund, so that's the funding for the kindergarten buildings here at RES. So by the end of this year, that $4 million will be zero, but we will, have gotten 3 classroom buildings for that. So next slide. And that is the end of that. Instead of, with unaudited actuals, there's no multi-year projection or anything that has to happen. So a little bit briefer presentation without having to go through rationale of trying to project into the future. We got the resolutions coming up, so I was just gonna wait here.
Yeah, I'm a little slow.
Okay.
You did a great job, Joe.
Oh, sorry.
But go back and explain to me one more time the red figures.
Okay, so here.
Federal Reserve, 824,000.
So the federal revenue, so estimated actuals for the year. So when budget was set up at the beginning of last school year, it was anticipated the district would be getting 5.6 million. We only got 4.83, which not, the end of the world. We're still, we still have ESSER two, ESSER three, other pockets of federal money that are still incoming as part of the COVID, different various COVID relief packages. So it was an overestimate of what the revenue from the federal government would be for that. And then looking at this on the other state revenue, you'll see that it's up 1.8 million. And that is, a lot of that is, well, not a lot, but part of that is the offset of the capital outlay of, okay, you see a big negative almost $1 million. That's because when we recorded the revenue coming in from the Eastern Current grant that we got for the buses, we didn't charge it back to the same account line that the buses came out of. It was charged towards revenue. So they net each other out. Overall, we got $825,000 for the buses. So there is a little bit over expenditure on the capital outlay, but again, with the $1,000, I'm chalking it up to things that were purchased towards COVID that, anything over $5,000 needs to be charged to capital outlay versus books and supplies. So even if we anticipated we're gonna buy something for $4,000, we're gonna budget for it, it's gonna go into that same books and supplies line. If it hits 5,000 or more, it needs to go somewhere else. So there's still a lot of bit of offset between being, expecting to spend 4.5 million and spending $1 million less than that on the books and supply line.
Okay. Thank you.
Sorry.
Motion by Moore, seconded by Bender, to accept the unaudited actions. All in favor? Five ayes. Approved resolution 21-2203, gains limit.
Alrighty, so the GAN limit, is part of Proposition 4 from 1979. This is an annual resolution that all school districts have to do as part of the end of year accounting process. Basically, the GAN limit not an attempt. It caps school spending at 1978-79 levels while adjusting for changes in population and inflation. So basically, it means we can't, we're limited on what we can spend per year. It keeps school districts and city governments from just going away crazy with runaway spending. If we overexpend and then we hit the GAN limit, the state, it affects what the apportionment from the state will be going forward. So it's part of the unaudited actuals process. We are within our limit. We don't have any issue of running into it. Our tax revenue has stayed relatively steady, and our ADA has stayed. We've been on a whole harmless, so we haven't been affected by any changes in student population that would typically have adverse effects. So.
Did you say what the limit was? How much was the limit? Spending limit?
What was that? Sorry.
How much is the spending limit?
It is. And I'm gonna scroll through the packet, guys. Give me 1 second. Looks like I have a tab open. Sorry about that. The appropriation subject to the limit is $32 million, which not all of our funds are subject to the GAN limit. It's state and local funds, not the federal or fund. So it's not the entire budget. It's, specific portions of it that tie directly to tax revenues. Sorry that took so long.
Do I hear a motion to accept? Motion by Hepburn, seconded by Bender. All in favor? Aye. Approve resolution 21-2204, education projection account and expenditures report.
All righty, so this is another annual update resolution of part of our funding is from Proposition 30, which was passed in 2012. As a part of that, districts are awarded funds that are generally unrestricted. There are some restrictions on it. Can't use administrative salaries for it. The district has used these funds to pay teacher salaries, and that's entirely all the only thing that we've done with EPA funds. It's included in the budget that was passed in the end of June for this year. That part of those teacher salaries that are coming out have been charged to this. So on page 195 of the board agenda is the breakdown by of what the total available for the EPA is and the amount that the district has put forward towards teacher salaries.
I'm sorry, Robert, did you say page 195?
Yeah, I had the PDF open, so it's going to be.
194 pages.
Well, I don't have. Well, I'm counting the title page, I guess, huh? Sorry about that.
Okay.
I am on fire tonight, guys.
It's the last page, I'm sorry, it's 192. Yeah.
All right, you guys good? Yeah, the only thing the district's done with these funds historically has been teacher salaries. That's
Got a motion by Bender, seconded by Hepburn. All in favor? Aye. Approve the following list of personnel items. There is one item that needs to be pulled from the write-up. And that would be, Melissa Diabata, which is to be taken off the schedule there. With that, do I hear a motion to approve the personnel?
I'll move.
Motion by Vincent, seconded by Moore. All in favor?
Aye.
Five ayes. I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll second that.
Seconded by Vincent. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. At 8:07.